Hello everybody, and welcome to Morzak EV, a channel dedicated to all things electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging and all related technologies. So for those of you who have already seen the Indra video, there were quite a few things that I didn't include in the video because I thought it would clutter the video too much for a simple introduction. If you haven't seen that video, I'd definitely recommend watching that video first. You can click the in-video links above or in the description below, or just check out our channel. However, I thought it was worthwhile doing a second video which went into more depth. We'll take a look at the insides and go into a lot more detail. This will be useful for customers and installers alike. And if you stick around till the end, there is a competition to win an Indra Charge Point. So, enjoy the video. So another nice feature for people like us who are installing the units, we have an installer app. So when we're installing the units, we set the customer's details up, assign it to a customer. We can do all our calibration cycles through that application, and then the customers can finish their setup, change any information they need to. It's all very easy. I've done it myself for this. I was quite impressed with the whole setup. The apps work on your mobile devices through a web application, and then you can also access it through a PC or laptop via the web portal. So, you know, you've got multiple options for accessing, changing settings on the device, configuring your schedules. And then, a first for us in terms of a home unit, there is an ops console, which as installers and Indra can use. And what we can do is download, view, and make configuration changes remotely to the unit. So if a customer is having a problem with a particular vehicle, you can change your settings remotely. It basically gives us an option to provide you a level of service and have a look at it without having to visit. So you don't have to wait for an engineer to come out and physically look at the unit or physically connect to the unit. You can do everything remotely through the portal and remotely diagnose and fix issues without having to step a foot on site. So that shortens that lead time of getting units repaired. You know, a lot of data shows, and my personal experience is the same, that most issues are not hardware issues, but are settings issues and configuration issues with units. So problems with linking the app to the unit, and this makes it possible to resolve all that really quickly without having to wait for us to come on site. So that's a real strong positive, and what I would say is a next generation feature.
Doesn't matter so long as you enjoy it. Why not? Good, excellent. 1,400 hours then.
Next generation feature for charge points. It's really good. So as I said, it's also all controllable via the app, so I can stop the charging via the web platform on here. It's pretty quick to work. It's one of the quicker ones I've seen working. So I find that nice, because sometimes you hit the stop button, and you're waiting about 2 minutes before it actually filters through to the unit. So that's stop charging. You can modify charging schedules, and of course, when it's not like today and a little bit drizzly, and it's a nice sunny day, you can also use the solar export to divert that electricity into your battery, powering your car from the power of the sun alone. So effectively fueling your car for free. So we'll take a look at the guts of the unit now.
You don't have the guts to be what you want to be.
So a few things that were really nice as I take this apart. The assembly was quite simple. There's a nice bracket that you mount on the wall, and then this fixes to the bracket and hooks on the top and locates with a screw at the bottom. So that's nice and simple. That's certainly, they've put some thought into that, so it certainly maintains the integrity of the unit in terms of water penetration, what we call IP rating. So it does have tamper-proof screws at the bottom, which require a specialist tool. So that prevents unauthorised access if you're worried about somebody getting into it. So the charge point's safely isolated. A couple of things that I really like. The way the whole thing's set up, it'd be very difficult for water to get in the unit, so that it sort of extends the life, the possible life of it, and it means that these units should last a lot longer than anything else on the market, which is maybe slightly compromised. It's got some cable entries at the bottom for bringing the cables into the unit. Couple of features which are nice for installers. It's got tethers on the front here. I say it's nice for installers, it's also nice for the customers, because you put the bracket on the wall, mount the charger on the wall without having to take the cover off, and when you do take the cover off to get inside, you've not got this front cover either laying around on the floor for somebody to tread on or kick or something accidentally. And then you've also got, it's not going to be, some of the tethered units that we've seen, you've kind of got this problem where it's hanging on the wires. Cables could get damaged or snagged or something. So this takes all the strain off the ribbon cable and any connections to the unit. If you want to take this off altogether, it's just a couple of screws and you unplug the ribbon cable. But it's nice for when you're working on the unit without having to undo everything and put it somewhere else. And a common issue that Indra say that they've seen is that ribbon cables are not plugged back in properly when the units are put back together and put on the wall. So you've got no light on the front and certain things aren't working, and it's just a simple matter of ribbon cable. So that's a call out for somebody, causes the customer problem. So all these little things add up to make the whole installation process much smoother. Another thing that I really like, they've got Wago terminals inside the unit. So a lot of you will be familiar with electrical connections with screw terminals. So in the latest edition of the wiring regs, anything that's a screw terminal requires one of these, which is a torque driver. So technically these should be calibrated. So I can set the torque using my tool here, set it to a specific torque reading, assemble it back together, choose the bit that you need, then you do up the screw terminal until you reach the maximum torque and it clicks. So that is to sort of ensure that it's done up tight enough but not too tight that it damages the fixings or damages the cable. Very, very common problem. Most people who have issues with loose connections and things is because terminations haven't been torqued correctly. These are what we call maintenance-free terminations. So these maintenance-free terminations are literally an armature which clicks in and out of place to tighten on the screw connections. They're already set to the correct torque, so it compresses the connection once it's down. So for example, with the earth cable here, the CPC, push it into place, pull down the armature and it's locked in place. Now in the eyes of the regulations, these are seen to be far superior to screwed connections. So a screw connection on any device needs to be accessible by an engineer. So you're not allowed to put them under floorboards, for example, or plaster them into walls. But these connections are deemed to be maintenance free, and therefore they don't need to be accessible necessarily. Obviously they are accessible in these units, but it just means that you've got less chance of them coming loose, because if they come loose, there's a chance that they'll overheat and damage something. We've seen this before. I'll show you an example in a second, but yeah, that if it damages the circuitry or the cabling, it could be an expensive replacement. So as I said, designed by engineers. So as I said, you've got the chip with the Ethernet connection inside. There are some settings that you can control for your pen fault modes. There are a couple of connections there for CT clamps. And then the rest of the unit really is to make sure there's enough air so that nothing ever gets too hot, and your circuitry is likely to last longer. Your components and your soldered joints are going to last longer, again extending the life of the unit. So again, all this thought has been put in by Indra in terms of the engineers. So because we like the Indra so much, we're going to do a competition. The prize is a free Indra Charge Point. So all you have to pay for is the installation, and if you're eligible for the OLEV EVHS grant, we'll also claim that on your behalf, deducting that from the price of the installation costs. So we'll come and install it, commission it. The only catch is that you need to be within 60 miles of Telford, Shropshire. But as long as you're within that radius, which covers most of the Midlands area, we'll come and install the charge point and you get the Indra free of charge. So, to enter the competition, what you have to do is go on social media and post how much you like our channel, take a screen print of it and email us at youtube@morzak.co.uk. We'll collect those emails, we'll put it all in a pot and pick a name out at random, and you'll get the free charge point. So, looking forward to seeing those posts. If you did like the video, give us a cheeky thumbs up on that like button. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications of future videos. Check us out on our social media channels. If you're buying a Tesla, make sure you use our Tesla referral code to get a free 1000 supercharger miles. And in the meantime, thanks very much for watching.